One of the most teachers that impacted my life would be Mr. Home. I might not had him as a teacher, but I had him as a counselor. Mr. Home changed my life in every way. I love talking to him. I love going to him, and to be honest, he's the best counselor I ever had. He always told me that I should never give up, and sometimes not being into things that I want to be, it's not the end of the world, and maybe it happens for the best or for a good reason. And just remember, everything happens for a reason. He always reminded me that. And he always made me happy and smile and showed me that everything's happened in a reason. I love Mr. Home and I appreciate everything that he have done to my life. Thank you, Mr. Home.
The Fitzgerald teachers that impacted me the most was Mr. Bierman.
The teacher that impacted me the most, I would say, is Miss Smith. I don't know, she's just so sweet. And, she be having her days or whatever. But it's she's just her. That's really my favorite teacher, though.
The Fitzgerald teacher that impacted me the most will honestly be one of many that really helped me out, but specifically one that will be Mr. Wynn, because he helped me come true with my future goals. Me and my mindset from the beginning of the year and the end of the year will honestly be big thanks to Mr. Wynn. He was very blunt with me when he told me all his stories and his opinions about college and just growing up in adulthood and being in debt, and it really just helped me have a better mindset of what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go and what I wanted to become. And I really do thank him for that, because nobody's ever been that just straightforward and made me actually look at life a little.
The teacher that has impacted me the most throughout my whole 4 years at Fitzgerald has to be either Miss Crawford or Mr. Michael, because Miss Crawford, I had her in 10th grade, but yet she still has been the only teacher that I've had since then that has always checked on me and has always just been there for me, and I could always go to her for any advice if I needed to. And then with Mr. Michael, we have a backstory because we used to not like each other, and then we all, we had bad vibes, but now we're all good, and he's just such a nice person. He's so funny, and I just feel like I'm his daughter.
The two guys that really impacted me the most was Mr. Kamik and Miss McKay. And the reasons why I picked two is because I couldn't really choose between them, and they there for different reasons. For Mr. Kamik, it was the fact that he always treated me like a young man, when I was talking, and that made me really respect him in a type of way. I already respected him because he was my teacher, but it made me respect him on a whole nother level because it made the sense that he respected me back. He was always respectful with the things he said. He always had a good lesson plan too. Whenever I was in his class, I always found the work kind of easy and straightforward because he had a good plan. Because teachers be on that. And one thing that made me respect him really good was when it was a parent teacher conference in ninth grade, my ninth grade year. I'm a senior now, but my ninth grade year, he was talking to my dad and my mom, and just cause I guess I had a high grade in this class and everything else, he gave me all these compliments and all these prompts yeah, your son really good and stuff like that. And I was yeah, that really made me like him on a whole nother level. And I remember, he probably don't remember this, but I do. I remember that he told my dad that he wanted a son like me. And son that was like me, that had the same respect and qualities, hard worker and all that. So that really made me like him on a whole nother level. Even the little handshakes. If y'all know Mr. Kamik, he be giving out a firm handshake in the little in the hallway. So every time you see him, and if you're cool with him, he'll let you hang on for a little 2 seconds, something like that. Yeah, even little things like that make him one of the best teachers I ever seen. So Mr. Kamik, if you watching this, thank you. I really needed you was a role model for real, bro. You was a role model. I'll never forget you. And now for my next teacher, okay. everybody likes the McKays. Let me get that out the way. Everybody likes the McKays. There's probably a couple seniors that's gonna do this video about the McKays. But, like, I chose the wife. I chose Mrs. McKay. Because, like, I don't know if it's a thing between both Mr. Kamiki and Mr. McKay, but I both had them in 9th grade year. So maybe that's why. Like, maybe it just had a longer effect because I was in 9th grade. But Mrs. McKay was always like the nicest person in the room whenever she walked into one. Like, there was no debate. And things like that made her so relatable and so likable. Like, everybody likes Miss McKay. Everybody likes Mr. McKay. Like, my preference was Mr. McKay, well, Miss McKay, because I had her first. No lie, I had both of them, but Miss McKay just had a lasting impact on me.
If I had to pick a teacher who impacted me the most, I'd probably pick Miss Cassage, because even though not everyone liked her, I still liked how she taught me things, and how like fun it was to be in her class.
The teacher who really impacted me in Fitzgerald High School is Miss California, because in math class I wasn't good enough to pass the semester, especially algebra 2, but she helped me to get a success in this class.
The teacher that impacted me the most has to be Mr. Brooks and Miss Karate. Mr. Brooks helped me build confidence, and not just in choir, but throughout high school. Miss Karate, however, always was a good conversationist, always having unique stories that I'm going to miss. I'm going to miss seeing both of you guys every morning, but I'm sure I'll visit.
The teacher that impacted me the most at Fitzgerald High School was Miss Holstein, because she gave me more insight in the healthcare field, which prompted me to go into it more and pursue a career in it.
The Fitzgerald teacher that has impacted me the most was Mr. Busatel. I've known him for a really long time. He's always been there for me. He gives great advice, and he's just a really good teacher.
And the teacher who most impacted me in Fitzgerald High School was Mr. Bierman, because he helped me to keep my grade up, and he helped me to end my high school year like that.
The teacher that impacted me the most was Mr. Michael, and the reason why, because he always had like inspiration, and he always had inspirational speeches, and also had faith in other students, including me.
The teacher that has made the most impact on me at Fitzgerald is Mrs. Sonnenfeld, because she's always been a motherly figure, and she always made me feel welcome in her class.
Every teacher at Fitz impacted me in many different ways, but Mr. Michael, he pushed me hard. He made me do things that are going to aid me for the rest of my life.
A Fitzgerald teacher that has impacted me has to be Miss Brannigan. Even though I never had her as a teacher, she still made my high school career so much better. I remember just being in the hallways and she'd come up to me with a smile and ask me how school was going and how I was, and if I had ever needed something, she was the person to go to, and I really appreciated that. I remember one year at leadership camp, she came and surprised us, and it was such an amazing surprise, especially to see her and such a familiar face.
A Fitzgerald teacher that impacted me the most would be Miss Sunnyfield. She taught me a lot of people skills and life skills, but most importantly, she done taught me how to know myself more. I opened up a lot in her class. It was just a really good experience in a class that I feel like everybody should have. I feel like she's a teacher that every student should have.
The most impactful teacher, I would say Miss Cassage, but I also like Miss Smith.
Teacher that has impacted me the most is, I would say, Miss Karate, from her work ethic to what she do every day to how she plans everything and how meticulous she is with all her students and how she goes about things is just, it's astonishing. And she amazed me every time.
The Fitzgerald teacher that impacted me the most will have to be Miss Smith. She encouraged me to follow my career and take up public speaking, and she introduced me to a lot of new techniques and a lot of new ways.
The teacher that has impacted me the most at Fitzgerald, I would say, would be Miss Karate. Although I only had her for economics, she has taught me things that will help me throughout my 4 years of high school, and things that I would need to know in the real world.
The Fitzgerald teacher that impacted me the most was actually Mr. Nelson and Miss Lametta. They really made me bring out my artistic side, and I was artistic before, but they really brought it out. It really made me want to pursue a career in arts and crafts and creativity on the web.
The Fitzgerald teacher that impacted me the most would be Miss Smith because she's very organized, ambitious, and always seems like she knows what she's doing. And because of her, I found my new hobby, and I've enjoyed a lot being with her in her class, and her class, which was the broadcast speech, is one of my most favorite class.
The teacher that impacted my life the most would be Ms. Van Gorder and Mr. McDonald because they're always so outgoing, patient, understanding, and they make learning easier.
And the Fitzgerald teacher that has impacted me the most has to be Mr. Michael. Mr. Michael is very thoughtful, determined, and has a hard working ethic. He never ceases to amaze me with all that he does and goes above and beyond the expectations in everything that he does.
The teacher that impacted me the most would be between Miss Smith and Miss Sonnenfeld. Miss Smith, I like her classes a lot, and I found out that I really like editing and recording videos. And Miss Sonnenfeld was there for me during a very traumatic year last year. Yeah.
Miss Smith was the teacher who impacted me the most because I spent a lot of time in her class. I learned a lot of new things, and I learned how to edit videos better because I like editing. She became the most influential. Thank you.
And the teacher that impacted me most will probably be Miss Johnson.
My favorite teacher from high school is Coach Durazio. You know, even though as a football coach, as a gym teacher, he really taught me a lot. He helped me find my passion for fitness, and I really thank him for that. You know, he taught me how important the body is and how important it is to keep it in shape and keep it healthy, you know, and I really want to help others do that too.
What teacher impacted me the most would have to be Miss Johnson because she was never my teacher. I wasn't a student of hers, but I would always go see her even though she wasn't my teacher, and I would just talk with her. And she's like, I don't know, like I like her mindset and the way she thinks and the stuff she say, and sometimes it's inspired me to want to do more in life.
The teacher that impacted my life mostly is, I would say, I'm not sure, but shout out to Ms. Greisel and Ms. Rouse.
So I'm going to talk about the teachers that impacted me the most. I would have to say Mrs. Sonnenfeld. Anytime, besides even school problems, like if I needed her, she always was there. Anytime I was mad, instantly, me seeing her face, like she brightened my whole day. Miss Lametta, she was a big help too. She was like, I know I still see her as more as a friend, but she really is. You can talk to her a little about anything and everything. And Mr. Michael, we bumped heads a lot, but all I can say, he always tried his best. And he always was there for me also. Miss you guys.
The staff member that impacted me the most would have to be Miss Haddon because she was always there for me and she got me through high school.
The teacher that inspired me the most is Miss Mulligan because she taught me that I can always chase my dreams and be successful.
Mr. McGuire impacted my life the most because he really helped me prioritize with my work.
Probably either Miss Lumetta or Miss Smith because Miss Lumetta helped me build my confidence over the 4 years of high school. And then Miss Smith was always just like on me about things. And she really made me think about my future a lot this year.
The teacher that impacted my life the most was Brian Michael. I had him for 3 years, and he was by far the best teacher I ever had.
The two teachers that influenced me the most would be Miss Smith and Miss Lametta. Miss Lametta taught me new art skills and development in my craft as an artist, and Miss Smith taught me how to edit and film and TV production. I am very thankful for Miss Smith because she's one of the influences in why I chose the college that I chose and why I chose the career path that I chose.
So most of the staff members at Fitzgerald have impacted my life in a great way. I have to say that Mrs. Sonnenfeld impacted me the most.
She acts as a mom to all of her students and is just an all-around amazing woman. She helped me discover who I am, who I want to be in the future, and how to inspire greatness in others.
Which teacher impacted your life the most? The teacher that impacted my life the most would probably have to be Miss Cafagna or Mr. McGuire, because they helped me out a lot with their jokes and helping me out through with my work.
From the Fitzgerald High School, the teacher who impacted in my life mostly is Mr. Bierman, because he always motivates me to go ahead and do something.
I couldn't decide, so here are my top 3. Miss Rubel, Miss Cry, and Miss Van Gordon, also known as One Love Shit. Miss Cry, she helped me get my job at the school as a lifeguard, and she also helped me through rough times. Miss Rubel, she helped welcome me into the school because I was confused when I first got out there. The hallways, the classrooms, and let's not forget, the work. And Miss Van Gordon, she helped make work much easier and a lot more fun. And plus, she helped me throughout this senior year.
The teacher that impacted me the most would have to be Miss Crotty, because no matter what, even when I didn't even take AP government, she made sure that I did not give up. I always went for what I wanted, and if she felt like I could do better, she always told me. She never held back, and that's why I respect her the most, and that is why she impacted my life the most.
A teacher that impacted me the most. I really don't have a specific teacher, because every single teacher that I've ran into has taught me up and impacted me and motivated me in many different ways. But my favorites were Miss Mulligan and Mr. Michael.